There are places in the world so shrouded in fear that merely mentioning them is enough to send chills down your spine. These places often carry secrets that have evolved over centuries, giving rise to myths and legends. One of these places, according to legend, is the Bermuda Triangle, a region of the Atlantic Ocean connecting Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. For decades, this triangle has been seen as a cursed zone, a place where the laws of nature cease to apply. But what if the darkest part of this story is that it may have never been true at all? What if our imagination and fears created something unreal, shaping a narrative that has grown larger than reality itself? During the 1940s and 1950s, the world began to notice a pattern that seemed too eerie to be a coincidence. Classic maritime tragedies, which had been occurring for centuries, were now taking on a new dimension. Ships that had once symbolized strength and endurance in these waters were vanishing without a trace. From the USS Cyclops, a military vessel that disappeared with 309 crew members, to the Marine Sulphur Queen, a cargo ship that was never found, each case contributed to the growing legend of the Bermuda Triangle. After every new disappearance, sensational headlines spread like wildfire through newspaper columns, and people began to speculate. It began to feel as though something supernatural was at play, and soon the vast area between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico was given a name that would go down in history: the Bermuda Triangle. In a world filled with mysterious stories and myths, one account stood out as a revelation that forever changed the way people viewed this region. In 1974, journalist Vincent Gaddis wrote an article that would lay the foundation for what we now call the deadly Bermuda Triangle. His article did more than simply report on disappearances. Gaddis took hundreds of old reports, wove them into a single chilling narrative, and in doing so created the image of the Bermuda Triangle as a place where the laws of nature no longer apply. Soon after its publication, everyone was talking about this mysterious triangle. The public believed it almost immediately, and popular media seized the topic, creating waves of sensationalism. Theories began to pile up, from aliens and Atlantis to magnetic anomalies and unknown forces from the depths of the sea. The more unbelievable the story became, the more powerful it grew. During this period, the craving for drama and mystery took over the media landscape, often leaving out the real and rational accounts of people who had actually survived such incidents. The mystery surrounding the Bermuda Triangle did not begin in the modern era. It has deep roots in history. As early as 1492, while sailing across the Atlantic, Christopher Columbus recorded strange lights on the horizon. His compass, an instrument crucial for navigation, behaved oddly, as if even the tools themselves could no longer be trusted. Columbus was not the only explorer to sense the presence of unexplained phenomena. The edges of maps from that time whispered of unknown forces, creating myths that would later shape the perception of this region. For many people, this became the first hint that something in this part of the ocean defied reason. At the time, many believed that nature itself had distorted reality, while others thought that monsters or greater forces inhabited the sea. Yet in the end, the explanations were far simpler: natural phenomena, imperfect navigation, and the fear of the unknown world ahead of them. Every story that stretched the limits of human understanding opened new dimensions in the imagination, where monsters and supernatural silhouettes guarded the dark legacies of past centuries. Of all the disappearances associated with the Bermuda Triangle, one case stands out above all others: Flight 19. 5 US Navy bombers took off from Florida on a routine navigation training mission. The pilots, experienced and well-trained, flew under ideal conditions on a mission planned down to the smallest detail. The flight plan was simple: head east, turn north, and finally return to base. However, not long after takeoff, something began to go wrong. All the pilots of Flight 19 started reporting strange deviations from their course. Radio communication became confused. The squadron leader reported that he could not recognize the terrain below him, and soon the compasses began to fail in unimaginable ways. Fuel was slowly running out, darkness was setting in, and before they knew it, 5 aircraft carrying 14 men had vanished without a trace. When a rescue plane was sent to find them, it too disappeared, turning the tragedy into one of the most powerful legends of the modern era. This story became a cornerstone of the myths and mysteries surrounding the Bermuda Triangle, and many are convinced that Flight 19 became a symbol of the unknowable evil hidden in the depths of the ocean. But when the myth is stripped away and only the facts remain, the picture begins to look different. The weather conditions that day were not ideal. Investigations pointed to pilot disorientation, navigation errors, and a chain of human mistakes that could have escalated into catastrophe. Deeper analyses and research led to the conclusion that the disaster was the result of a combination of factors, not sea monsters or supernatural forces. Statistics revealed that many other Bermuda Triangle mysteries were later explained by storms, technical failures, poor communication, or simply human error. In this context, the story transforms from the paranormal into something deeply human. This revelation is significant because it raises an important question about the difference between reality and fiction, and about the ways the human mind struggles to understand what it cannot explain. So why has this story endured? Because mystery sells. Fear spreads faster than facts. The media, consciously or unconsciously, contributed to this mystery, shaping it alongside broader political, social, and cultural trends. This leads us to a key realization. While ships and airplanes pass through the Bermuda Triangle every day, nature continued to produce its wonders, and new incidents help sustain the narrative. The truth is that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the busiest regions in the world. Thousands of ships and aircraft pass through it every year, and accidents are, statistically speaking, inevitable. However, when researchers compared the data, they discovered something surprising. The number of incidents in that area was not significantly higher than in any other heavily trafficked part of the ocean. In other words, the Bermuda Triangle was not particularly dangerous, it was simply particularly famous. Where does reality end, and where does myth begin? Is the Bermuda Triangle truly a deadly anomaly, or a perfect blend of coincidence, human error, and sensational storytelling? We may never explain every disappearance, but one thing is certain. Some of the world's greatest mysteries are not hidden beneath the ocean's surface. They are born in headlines, live in whispers, and endure through the stories we choose to believe. This story is not only about disappearances and mysteries, but also about human fear, imagination, and our need to understand the world around us.